Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm JJ Flazanes, your empowerment strategist, producer, and winemaker. Thank you for downloading today's episode. Very excited to share with you today's episode because it is the Inner Circle Mastermind 2024 at our first live retreat in Mexico. And this was our second time, or my second time, and several others' second time in Mexico. A very successful trip, and just excited to share with you what everyone is doing and listening to their journey of courage to put themselves out there. So the title of today's episode is The Courage to Put Yourself Out There. And whether it be in a business, in a relationship, in your community, honoring who you are, honoring what makes you tick, what makes you feel passion, we all have the opportunity every day to have the courage to put ourselves out there. And so I want to ask a couple things before I continue more about today's episode. I do want to have some announcements. So putting myself out there, I created a wine brand called High Vibrational Wines. For those of you that don't know, and those of you that do, and the announcement is that on June 14th in Paso Robles, California, which is near San Luis Obispo, it's a couple hours from Santa Barbara. It's an hour south of San Francisco. Anyway, Paso is my favorite wine country, and that is where the grapes are grown and the wine is processed for high vibrational wines. And there is an event happening on June 14th at Pacific Wines. And if anyone is a wine connoisseur, you know anybody, I would love to see any of you or friends of yours who love wine at the event. So it's Pacific Wines. It's June 14th, 5 to 7 p.m. Just contact me and I can send you the flyer and the link to sign up. It's $10 if you bring your own glass. Although, if you're a part of my community, maybe I can bring you a high vibrational wine glass to use, or it's $15 at the door to taste all the wines. There are many, many winemakers that are there. I would love to see you there. Please email me, jj@jjflazanes.com, if you're interested or want to know more. Also, today, this week, we have a few days left for the early bird pricing for the Embodied Healing Intensive. I get so excited about my events. My love language is quality time, but it really just feels like a reunion. The room is already a third of the way full, and everyone that's coming, I just get excited about seeing you. I get excited about working with you. I get excited about the journey that we go on together as a group, and the amount of support and love and this very sacred container that gets created in this community for you to really blossom and be who you really meant to be. So today's episode, the courage to put yourself out there, have the courage to allow others to support you in a way that maybe you've never had before. I mean, I would think that don't you owe it to yourself if you've never taken a risk, taken a chance, asked for help, asked for support, and wanted to be seen and heard. You know, the best part of going on a vacation or going somewhere where you've never been before is that you leave who you are and the stories that you're attached to at the door. So I'm excited because when you come to my room with the community, you have a clean slate. It's this level of freedom and detachment from your story, from who you are. It's this awakening and opening and possibility of being who you want to be, being who you really are, and leaving all that stuff behind and allowing us to help you leave it for good. So the Embodied Healing Intensive, it's happening October 4th through the 6th, although I always recommend you stay one more night until Monday just to integrate and maybe join us for the VIP dinner. So Embodied Healing Intensive, jjflazanes.com/EHI. Early bird pricing ends on May 31st. That is Friday. And so in this mastermind conversation that we're having today, because what happens in any of my groups, 3, 6, or 12-month groups, is that I hold a container for you to grow, but that means that you grow beyond what you're comfortable with, or you take risks, you take chances, you allow yourself to explore. And so everyone in this group has been in a place where they're slightly uncomfortable, and every single one of them has something to offer you. And when I went through editing the podcast and wanting to list all the different links, I thought that would be very, very overwhelming for everybody. So what I did is I created a page. It's jjflazanes.com/Mexico. And for instance, there is a webinar with Patrick happening on June 10th. That's a Monday. There will be a replay, and he is going to help people overcome self-destructive, sabotaging behaviors. Wendy has a June 26th Paths to Inner Peace Summit. And it's a one-day event. It's free. Both of those are free. Helen Raptopoulos, she's got a webinar coming up, and that is also in June. The early bird pricing ends this week. So there are some timely offers that I want you to take advantage of because it's free. Everything on here is free minus my event, but you're going to save some money by getting your ticket now versus later. So, and of course, we can pair you up with someone in the community to roommate with at the hotel to reduce the expenses there. So please check it out. I invite you, even if you don't want to sign up for everything, just do me the favor. Since I produce this show for free for you, please acknowledge these people and how they're having the courage to put themselves out there, even though they're scared shitless, even though it's challenging, and let them inspire you to really sit and think about how can you do something similar in your own life? How can you get beyond where you are and have the courage to put yourself out there? jjflizanes.com/Mexico. Please go there today. Now, today, soon, so that you don't miss something that's happening in the next week or two that is free and could enhance or change your life. Enjoy today's show. Welcome, everyone, to today's episode. I have a treat for you. We are currently in Riviera Maya, Mexico. I am here with the Inner Circle Mastermind 2024, and we just finished our 2-day mastermind retreat. And we just literally finished it. So we are coming right off of the heels of a lot of brainstorming, a lot of connecting, a lot of sharing, a lot of ideas, a lot of tears, a lot of laughter. And of course, what I like to do always is to utilize and share the inspiration, the clarity, the things that people learn and have aha moments about, and sort of transmute that to you in order for you to also have an idea, an experience, an insight, to plant a seed in your brain of the things that you might need for your next level of growth and success. So I'm going to start off by having everyone introduce themselves. We're going to do a couple rounds. So for the ones that are new, you've heard every single person on the podcast already, so you know them all. So it's going to be a reintroduction. Let's start with Vesta.
Hi, I'm Vesta. I am an empowerment strategist. I took the course with JJ 2 years ago, her second empowerment strategist course. I did the mastermind last year. I did the Power of Choosing You Summit last year with the mastermind, with the help of the mastermind. This year, I'm working on a podcast. I'm going to do the Power of Choosing You Summit 2, and I am doing a webinar.
Tell us, I know we're going to talk a little bit about, like, everyone's going to get to share what they're working on and invite everybody in the audience to participate in what you're working on. You did the Power of Choosing You Summit last year. You're doing it again this year on
August 21st and August 22nd. It's going to be 2 days.
So mark your calendars for the Power of Choosing You.
On August 21st and August 22nd.
And if you missed it last year, you don't want to miss it this year.
Correct. And there will be a replay.
And then there's one more thing that you're working on and putting out into the world, and maybe by the time this podcast airs, it'll already be out in the world. That would be your podcast.
Open Heart Healing Podcast.
Excellent. Okay. Why don't, before you pass the mic, since you've been here before, do you want to just maybe share a little bit of anything you've noticed about, like we've talked about, the difference in you from last year or even from when you started the Empowerment Strategist program?
Most of it is emotional. I have a very heavy, shameful past. I shame myself over every single thing that I do. I got triggered earlier today with lots of shame that came up. In that, because of that, this journey that I'm on in the last 3 years, or actually probably 15 years, I am learning every day how not to shame myself and how I'm perfect just the way I am, and it is a journey, and I find a lot of power in my own imperfection and accepting it as it is, because I am always forgiving for people to not be perfect, but I'm not always forgiving for myself to be perfect. So all the time, I am learning to accept my imperfection.
Perfect.
And it's very hard.
And you're doing a great job. But you've seen changes in yourself.
Oh, I've seen a lot of changes in myself. Yeah, 100%. I'm much more patient. I'm kind. And when I'm kind to me, it also makes me kinder to other people. When I'm out of alignment, I'm super judgy and to myself and to others, not out loud, but like in my head. But whenever I'm truly loving myself, it gives me the capacity to truly love others and allow them to feel my love, and I can feel love then too.
Beautiful. Awesome. Why don't you pass the mic to Wendy? Then we're going to come back this way and then go back that way.
Hi, my name is Wendy Patterson. I have a coaching business. It's Wendy Patterson Wellness, and I am also one of JJ's empowerment strategists, and I was one of her beta program from her very first beta environment strategist group. And I also embarked on JJ's mastermind group in 2022. I took last year off and I came back again for the second time for her mastermind. I'm super happy that I'm back at it, and I've gained a lot of clarity and step forward as to what my next steps are. I am currently working on my very first summit that's going to occur on June 26th of this year. And the title of the summit is Paths to Inner Peace Summit. And I'm really looking forward to putting this together since it is my first summit. And I'm so totally stoked about it.
Awesome. And there'll be links in the show notes for everybody's links. So how to get to Vesta's stuff, how to get to Wendy's stuff. And awesome. Thank you, Wendy. And have you noticed any, this is your second year in the mastermind with a year in between.
Yes.
Any thoughts or ideas about or awarenesses about your growth or what's changed or?
Oh, tenfold. I can recall being in her first mastermind and getting extremely triggered by certain things that people had said and I took personally, but it had nothing to do with me, and I can remember specifics, timing of everything. And this year I noticed that I heard them, but it did not trigger me in any way, shape, or form. Like, it was literally, like, I didn't even think twice about it, but it's like, oh, the old me would have definitely taken that personally and beaten myself inside. Not an iota, not even a drop, not even one negative word entered my mind whatsoever. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That was the only thing that went through my head. It's like, oh, wow, that's so amazing. So yeah, that was a definite aha moment for me. And I'm just so super helpful to have been back this year in this community to understand and actually retrieve and pull more information as to what my next steps are. Because yes, we went through ours. However, through everybody else, there is always something else to mark down on my sheet about what I need to do for my business and my own personal growth. So I so appreciate this community. So thank you so very much, JJ.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Patrick.
Hey, everybody. I'm Patrick Casey. I am, I work as a nurse practitioner in South Florida. And this is my first time in the mastermind group, where I am hoping to gain a lot of knowledge and help and encouragement and assistance with business, being that I did the 6-month deep dive group last year from January to June of 2023 with JJ. And I was looking to kind of take it to the next level with business this time around, as I am making some changes in my profession. I am I'm transitioning out of my primary care practice to get into the coaching field, if you will, where I have a lot of experience. I've been in recovery from drugs and alcohol for the past 21 years. So in some aspect, I've kind of been doing coaching for a long time in the recovery community where I've been living over the years. So I feel very inspired to do this and to take a lot of the knowledge and change and growth that I've experienced in the last year and a half since I met JJ at her Awaken Your Dream Life event in October of 2022, where I had a huge breakthrough and came to the realization that despite all the work I had been doing for many years prior to that, that I still struggled with a lot of self-hate, self-criticism. The voice in my head was a very negative voice, not a very encouraging and supportive voice that I had. And through my breakthrough, I was able to uncover a lot of my self-destructive behaviors and patterns that I had been living for many years. So what I'm looking to do now is to help other people, especially men, because a lot of men out there, if you're like me, you don't really know about outlets that you might have. Maybe you did therapy like I did before, and you just felt like it just was unsuccessful, or maybe you don't feel safe talking to your partner, your loved one. So I'm hoping to be that outlet for a lot of men to be able to help, and then eventually, kind of have my own, following of people that want to, learn from myself, such as I've done with you and a lot of the ladies here over the last couple months again. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be holding a webinar called Breaking Through Self-Destructive Patterns on June 8th at 11 o'clock Eastern. So I'm really excited. It's my first one ever. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out and pass it around. And it doesn't have to be just for men either. Women are also invited and welcome to come. And so I'm looking forward to what's next. So this has been an awesome journey so far. So I'm glad to be here.
Was it what you expected?
In some respects, it was, but there was definitely, I like the meshing of the emotional component to also tie in with the business side, because we know that we can't offer a service to people if we're not getting better and healing on ourselves. It's kind of hard to help somebody else if you haven't been making some improvements yourself.
Totally. Awesome. Thanks, Patrick. Let's pass it to Helen.
Hi there, my name is Helen Raptopoulos. The name of my company is Aim for Ideal, and I am currently building my empire and not exactly sure what direction or what it will look like, but I'm enjoying the ride. I currently help busy women to prioritize themselves, their self-care, their self-worth, all the things in spite of their crazy to-do list, and I'm very passionate about that. I'm having a good time. By being here in the mastermind, I did get some new encouragement, and I'm very passionate about the topic of Airbnb hostessing, and I've been encouraged by my my fellow entrepreneurs to go with that in that direction. So I'm looking at talking to people who are interested in creating their own Airbnb, hostessing, being a super host if they already have an Airbnb. I absolutely love all things to do with the experiences and the houses that are available with Airbnb.
And more to come for that. You'll learn more about what Helen's offering for anyone who's already doing it or is interested in learning about how to do it and how to succeed and excel and kick butt like she is. So again, check the show notes for all of that. Let's hand it to Jane.
Hi.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, my name is Jane Jaber, and I am transitioning from working on everyone's outer selves to working on their inner selves. I am calling myself a midlife transformational stylist.
Woo woo.
Which is fancy verbiage for me helping women in midlife who feel dull, confused, and stuck to wake up and rediscover themselves so they can live a happy, inspired, and meaningful life. And this is coming on the heels of me doing some really deep healing in the past year, post cancer diagnosis, and working really hard on all the physical pieces of that puzzle, and then really seeing true transformation and healing by working on the emotional piece. So I'm super fired up about the progress and the experience I've had, and I just want to be of service and teach other women that you can find surrender and you can find the part of yourselves that you need to let go in order to find a more joyful, peaceful, and meaningful life going forward, post children, post all the things. So that's where I'm at.
How was this for you as your first time here?
Fantastic. I'm listening more deeply to my intuition. I've known and learned and heard for years about having all the answers, but I've never been quiet enough to hear what I need to hear and really utilize my intuition. And it's just so strong. It's so there. I get these massive downloads and I get really excited, and just with the feedback of the group, they could see, the ideas I'm having and what I'm creating, that I'm really fired up, and it's coming from a very authentic place, and it's in flow, and it is fun, and it's easy. I tried to do this 5 years ago, and I hadn't done the work I needed to do to be able to get here, access it. Yeah, I needed to look at where my blocks and my stories and all the things were, which is also a product of what gave me chronic illness, and that a lot of that is rear view mirror stuff now. So
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jane.
Hi, my name's Maureen, and my business is Here to Hear You, and I am an auditory mentor. I help people with hearing loss or family members of people with hearing loss find ways to learn to cope and excel and move forward with their hearing loss and succeed.
Nice. Good job. And so what about for you this year? This is your second year in the mastermind.
This is my second year in the mastermind, but I'm not new to JJ at all. I've been with JJ since 2011,
12?
I think, yes. And I've been to all of her live events except for one, and I've been following her up as she's been growing and succeeding in new businesses, and I've been following her up with her and learning from her all these years.
Well, let's talk about your growth from last year to this year. What have you noticed? What do you feel? What do you see?
It's hard for me to see my growth. It's hard. I think I get that feedback from other people. I do know I'm more confident with myself, and I like to think that I'm not saying as many ums in this as I'm talking now as I did last year. I hug more.
You hug more, yes. You hug
And
more.
the difference between last year and this year is I'm not burnt to a crisp like I was last year. So.
That's true. Hasn't been warm enough to be outside in the pool necessarily getting sunburned. So, okay, awesome. Thanks, Maureen.
Oh, I do have heretohearyou.com. I just finished. They're flashcards for emotional aspects of hearing loss, something that people can get access to and use to figure out what they need. Like for instance, if they're suffering from loneliness or anxiety or whatever, I have steps that you can use to figure out what you need.
Great. So again, all the links will be in the show notes, and I'll make sure to outline all the things that people are offering again, so that if you know someone who is experiencing hearing loss, or you're a family member you're in a family with hearing loss, on all sides of that, it's the dealing with the emotional aspects and how to deal with that and how to excel and how to get help and how to get support. Maureen is the person to talk to, so I'll make sure that all of her links are in the show notes. So, all right, thanks, Maureen.
Hello, I'm Patty Woods, and I live in Arizona. And I am an empowerment strategist, and I did the mastermind in 2022. My husband was with me on that one, and I decided to do it again and kind of dial down what I want to do exactly and leave him behind and get the new energy from a new group of people. And that's been just an awesome experience. I love every time I'm in one of your groups, getting the just all the energy from the new people and their ideas and their perceptions and the similarities. You see the differences in people, but when you really get to know them on this level, you see all the similarities too, and can kind of appreciate that and appreciate your growth that you see. You see it in them and you see it in you, and it's kind of nice to grow together.
What's the difference of the 2022 versus now? I mean, you don't have Ned now, and you're by yourself, and a year has passed. What would be the difference now for you? What you've experienced?
I think there's a lot of differences. I mean, he's a crutch for me in a lot of ways. He's an extra layer of support. So not having him here, I feel like I'm a little more vulnerable. There's also not thinking about his comfort level or if I say something that might impact him. It was great to have him, and it was great growth for both of us. I love that we did it together, but it's just a different experience. It's like a additional boost for Patty.
Yes, that's what we want. We want you to be 100% focused and not dispersed. So, well, do you want to mention anything about what you're working on or who you're going to be focusing on?
And I'm continuing, and I will also say that this group has kind of elevated me with thoughts and then also grounded me in the precision of it. So I appreciate that from all of you. But I want to work with girls and women who have body image issues and to get them to feel accepted and confident and powerful in their current bodies. And I look forward to really developing the program that can draw them in and help them and help raise little girls that never have to feel not confident, never have to feel that they're shame for their bodies and try to cover up and try to change to be someone else, and that they can be themselves and be confident and comfortable.
Excellent. And more about that to come.
Hi, I'm Deirdre Bobot. My company is Restore and Flourish, and I'm a certified health and nutrition counselor, and my focus is on longevity, really health span more than lifespan, meaning, we want a long lifespan, but we want to live it well and be healthy and live a long time and feel vibrant as we age. So I really focus on people who are 45 and up. And I've had some problems moving forward with my business. And I think that it's very challenging to start a business completely on your own. When you're one person starting a business, it's difficult, to not have people to bounce ideas off. So I felt that this group would be very beneficial for that, which is why I joined, and to help me move forward. And it has been. And it's really wonderful because you watch and listen to everyone else creating their business and what they're doing and what they're struggling with or what they're creating, and it gives you ideas, and through what they're doing makes you realize things to do for yourself, and then you have the group to help you with your own ideas. So it's just really, really helpful. And the accountability is something that is really important for me because I've struggled with perfection issues and wanting everything to be perfect before I put it out there. And so it's great for me to have a group of people letting me know that, yes, you have more than enough. You need to get out there. So that's been great to hear that and have these people around you cheering you on and helping you. And then, of course, all of the emotional stuff that goes with that when you put yourself out there. It's just really helpful to start a business that way.
Well, this is your first year, and is this what you expected?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect, except I figured it will help my business and the accountability thing. But somewhat, because I did that program with you, the core wounds I started last year with JJ, and I did the rewiring your core wounds, and which was really helpful because my own health issues, like the only thing left was the emotional piece, like what part is the emotional and nervous system piece. So that was incredibly beneficial, and I kind of want to continue on that. to do more of that while I, really got my business going. So I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of time on what do I expect. I didn't really have a ton of expectations other than just getting help moving forward. And it's definitely helping me with that. So it's great.
Do you feel like this was better than you expected, or I know you said you didn't have a lot of expectations, but
Yeah.
did anything surprise you, or has anything been, a shock or a pleasant surprise?
Yeah, I don't feel surprised. I think it's what I came for, right? I came for support and accountability and help, and I'm getting all those things. So I guess it's everything I did imagine and hoped that it would be. And in a way more, right? Because you can't imagine all the things you're going to confront. So yeah, and it's a continuation. I think I looked at a lot of different business programs because first I kind of struggle with that. Like, should I go to a business coach that's doing just specific health coaching or in that realm? And but when you put yourself out there to create your own business and sell yourself, it's very different. And I know a lot about that because I was in sales management, very successful in sales management for many, many years and had never had a problem selling anything. But now that I have to sell myself, all of a sudden it's like crickets. Like, I don't know what to say. And I already know it all. Like, I know the whole how to sell, what you do, overcoming objections, I'm like terrific at. But for myself, it's been astounding how difficult somebody who is so good at sales to not, maybe it's a little harder to sell yourself, but no, it's very, very different. And so this is really helping me with that.
And that's why you chose me.
And that is exactly why I chose JJ. And
because you started to talk about looking at other business programs.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't go back.
Okay.
Yeah, right. The reason I picked this is because of the linking with the emotional and the business, and because of who you are. Like, I like people, and I'm this way too, that call me out, who tell me things, who don't beat around the bush. I do actually like to shove my face in my issues, and JJ's really good at that in a wonderful way.
Thanks, Patrick.
Wonderful.
It's too bad this isn't a visual. Patrick's like shoving his hand down like I'm.
But she has this unique, you have this unique way, I think everyone will agree. She has a unique ability to use certain words that resonate with you in a way that you just have a lot of these aha moments, and you get to your shit. Like, you just do. And so it's very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for trusting me and trusting the process and taking a chance on doing this. We did start in January. This is April. We have the rest of the year, so this is only the beginning. So watching the transformation of the people, and what I really appreciate, especially this year. Last year I had a freedom. I had a sense of like, oh, finally, because everyone in this room pretty much has done the emotional work. I know I said in January of 2023. 2023. I said in 2023 that I will only be working with people in the mastermind who have done a rewire or done a roadmap course, because the freedom that I have to not split myself into the people that think that business doesn't require emotional work, which I've had, and I don't want that because I don't believe that. And so it's not honoring me to pretend that, yes, let's just talk about business because it's all about the bells and whistles. It's all about the kind of funnel that you have. It's all about the kind of, whatever, the technology, the whatever you're creating. And it's like, no, that's not it. That's some of it, sure, but that's not all of it. And so it was really kind of freeing last year, and it's been really amazing. I have to say, you guys have been super on point. Like, I mean, Vesta and I talked about like what a difference it is from last year. And no disrespect for anybody who's listening, you guys were where you are. It was awesome to walk you through, and 3 people in this room did last year, right? And to walk you through being emotional and digging deeper to get to your whys. And because we've already all done it in a Rewire program, we're already there. So now we're taking that next step into the application application of your purpose, the application of your passion in order to help serve others. Because everyone in this room has a desire to serve others. And there's this theme that we kind of came up with today about how do we get out of our own way so that we can be of service to others, so that the passion that we have for the information that we have that we want to share that's been changing our lives, that can change other lives, because everyone's information comes out of a pain. It comes from a pain of our own childhood, our own core wounds that we want to try to help someone else not experience, or to experience differently, or to have help sooner, or to hear things differently. And so I think that's been a theme of clarity and a clarity of our own stuff about what we need to do to get out of our way to be able to give our gifts. And so however this applies to you, those of you that are listening who aren't here in this room with us, whether you've done a mastermind or a rewire, or you've just listened to my podcast for years, or you're brand new to me, you will resonate with someone in this room. You will have already resonated with them. You will have a secret desire that you're sitting on, that you're hoping one day maybe you'll give yourself permission to do, because you want to affect change. There's something that you secretly want to do that you're not allowing yourself to do. You're not allowing yourself to have more joy. You're putting these limitations on yourself to say, well, when I accomplish this, this, and this, or when the time is right, maybe I'll give myself permission to desire something, and maybe even, oh my God, act on it. Maybe even, invest in myself or focus on myself, right? So I would love to hear any of you guys, and we don't have to do this in any kind of order. You can just pass the mic around. So raise your hand so the mic can go to who the mic needs to go to. But in terms of what I just said, because there's a turning point for most people, and sometimes it's timing, it's always timing, right? But it's sort of like when the timing is right, and is it because of a pain point, which for most of us it is. But when is the time? But so let's say you get over that pain point, you're sort of in the process, but that next level of committing to yourself, because I think, would we all agree that there's a certain level here of courage and commitment, courage to put yourself out there, and commitment to just go through the process. What do you think, either this weekend, or maybe this year, from the beginning of the year till now, or has been come up, like tools that you have used, or things that have come to you, whether it be like Jane, you just mentioned your intuition. And I'm guessing that part of your intuition got unlocked in the last year with removing some of the stories of victim mentality, or creating some more ease of communication at home, or realizing you could let yourself off the hook and not be efforting in the physical things. And you can maybe give it to Jane, so I can, since I just put her on the spot. Like, did your intuition become more unlocked in the last year with sort of the emotional work, which then helps you now in your business?
Absolutely. And just doing my deep dive with you on my VIP, and really seeing where my limitations are, where my limiting beliefs are, where my negative emotions, they're all there. And I saw them with the aid of plant medicine. And that has been the most significant turning point in my life for going forward with confidence, and just being really clear about knowing myself on a different level. And in that knowing, being able to walk this path with more confidence and clarity. Absolutely.
Great. So that was a tool. And since that tool, because it's a one-time thing that does kind of blow you open, what else have you found to be helpful to keep that expansion going and to surrender and allow that intuition to come in?
Well, a lot of this is sort of a piece of my business in just being able to utilize aspects of gentle movement and restorative yoga, more somatic practices that allow you to be in touch with your more conscious self, and to understand that that is where your power center is, that's where your clarity is, that's where your intuition lies, that's your all-knowing self. And yeah, to just cultivate practices. And I had them before. I dabbled in all this. I've been doing this for over 20 years, but just having it land in a way that I crave it now. It's essential. It's like part of me now that it never has been. Like, it's just essential.
Okay, one last question, just because I'm feeling it. Because there was a palpable change in you. And I'm not making this about, I'm making this about taking risks, and I'm making it about commitment to yourself. Okay, so everyone, that's my premise. But when you joined the mastermind, there was this, holy shit, I have never invested in myself like this. And then there was the, holy shit, I'm so excited now that I did, right? That is a changing point too, yes? Absolutely. Okay. And I'm saying that because whether it be the mastermind or a rewire course or a 10-day meditation retreat someone may take on their own, it's the act of the commitment of the stretching, of the investing, whether it be time, money, or both, that literally rewires anyone to say, I'm up-leveling my importance to myself through this action.
Absolutely. And it's apparent to me because I tried to do this in 2019 when I did the program. I had all these big hopes and dreams, and yet I had no concept of what my core wounds were or where I was upper limiting, and the fact that until you have knowledge and can move beyond those pieces of your puzzle, it's really hard to succeed in a world like this business-wise. And really the energetics around this is the most I've invested in myself in my entire life. I mean, for me to learn the trade I've been at for over 40 years was like a fraction of this. Granted, it was a long time ago, but this is the biggest investment I've made in myself in my entire life, and it has paid off, and I see it paying off for me the most ever. Like, it's the biggest thing I've ever done.
Well, we just got started, so it's gonna pay off a lot more. But
it will be the biggest thing I've ever done.
Right. But I'm sure energetically there's a certain level of payoff that's already happened.
Exactly.
And it will also, yes.
That's what I mean.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else want to comment on? Yeah, Maureen.
In 2021, I was going to apply for the mastermind in 22, and I had the form all filled out. I was going to give it to you that Sunday, and then I found out there was an issue with one of my mom's caregivers. My mom was still here on this earth, and I realized that I wouldn't have been able to give the time needed. I wouldn't have been able to honor this time in 2022, and then you had a live event in 2023. And as soon as I knew before I even got there that I wanted to be in the mastermind for 2023. So that was kind of a turning point for me, because I finally realized that, my importance and the things that I wanted to do, and get my message out into this world.
Yeah, it's important, right? Everybody, I mean, we all can see it in each other. Would you all agree, and you can shout out yes, that you can see in everyone else, maybe more than yourself, how valuable their information is for everybody else? Yes, right. So hence why, like Jane said, she wrote last night, she got all her downloads. And I said, this is what, and again, whether it be my mastermind or a different group, coming together with like-minded people on a similar mission and path opens up an energetic vortex bigger than all of us together, that stimulates an energy and creation to come into you. Like, this process for me is gold and always has been. I've been in a mastermind my entire life until I started running my own, because there is, to me, nothing more than honoring to me than to take myself out of my life, put myself in a situation where I'm only focused on the creativity and the creation of working on the business or working on myself versus being in my business or in my life, right? And I know I say this every time. Those of you are probably rolling your eyes at me because you've heard this before, but I can't stress the importance enough, especially if you've never done it before. So would you not agree, though, that this, don't you feel like you've honored yourself in a new way by even just showing up here and giving the time? Because we live in a world where you're fucking all the time on your phone, worried about other people, looking at other people. How much time do we actually step out and give it's so self-honoring. What was my new quote? Self-love is about honoring what you're passionate about. I said that to Helen, and Maureen was like, I loved that quote. I'm like, what quote? What did I say? Self-love is about honoring what you're passionate about. That is a form of self-love. And I obviously felt that. I obviously channeled that. And I'm going to stick to that because I think that it's funny because I was actually talking about you in one of my later podcasts at the end of, before you joined, Deirdre, at the end of 2023, because of the passion that I know you have for what you do, and using you as the muse to say to everybody, if you have a burning desire in you and you're not acting on it and you're not using it and you're not allowing it out, that's a form of repression, which is eventually going to hurt you if it's not already hurting you. And especially when someone's right on the edge of committing to that anyway, or they're already kind of doing it, you're already in it, right? What's the next step to just like totally surrender and allow that out, allow that light, allow that passion, allow that love that you have for helping other people, because we need more of that. I mean, we need so much more of that right now. And I'm not going negative about like the planet or anything, but I'm just saying like we as light bearers, which everyone who listens to the show, you are that too. If you're listening to me, if you resonate with me, you want to help change the world. And so my question is, what are you doing about it? Because right now we have to act from that place. So anyway, does anyone have anything to say more?
Whatever you just said, it made me want to say something to it. So say that again.
Oh, about anyone listening to the show as a light worker and needs to get out into the world and spread their love and change lives?
There was something about that just reminded me that what I'm learning, and by being here and being in the mastermind, that we are all, and you say this, mirrors for each other. And I see myself and everybody, everything that you've either discussed, talked about, cried about, worried about, the standard you set, how hard you are on yourself. Like, it just feels like when you said that, I lost my thought, but it was very much like there's just comfort in knowing we're not alone and that we're all in this together and that we are wanting to make a difference in the world and show up as a light for other people. And that starts by being a light for ourselves, and that is the hardest work.
So why is that the hardest work?
Because we have to get over our own stuff. We have to get over our own expectations, our own standards. We have to just be raw and real and have faith and trust and let go and show up without like all the filters and all the overemphasis on the standards, the expectations, the wanting people to like us, all the things. Like, you just show up and be raw and real and have faith and trust that you're going to do what you need to do to make a difference in the world, because we absolutely all want to do that. Like, that's why we're here. I think that's why we're all here on the planet personally, but we do want to make a difference, and it starts with us. We can't just go out and help people without doing the work and helping ourselves first. So that is, sometimes we want to skip that part and just go to helping other people. But we can't do that if we haven't experienced what that feels like, so that we can really be there and hold people's hands in much more compassionate way.
I didn't ask you earlier, but you did the mastermind last year. This is your second year. Is there a difference for you from last year to this year?
Personally and professionally, yes, there is. I just feel like I'm in a completely different place. I feel like I have grown so much that it's palpable, if that's the word. It's very tangible to me, and friends and family, I think as well, just notice I don't know the exact right word, but I feel like there's just like a calmness or a comfort, like it's coming. It's not about pushing. It's just coming. Just allow it. Just let it. And it's actually easier to allow it and let it, which is a contradiction in a way, than to push so hard and to care so much about making something happen.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Thanks, Helen.
Earlier you said, emotionally, what I've learned through JJ and the Empowerment Strategist and the things that help me right now is my core wounds. I know it's not my core wound. Knowing my core wounds isn't, it's just how I handle. A lot of times I would tell myself the reason I'm getting pushed back, the reason I'm not doing it or I'm not taking action is because I had a little bit of contrast. And in my head, I was telling myself the story that the contrast, it means I shouldn't be doing it. The contrast was my excuse. The contrast was why I'm not starting. The contrast was why I have a great idea and don't actually do anything with it, because it was like, oh, you're not supposed to be doing it then if you have contrast. And my core wounds, learning them, learning how I handle them, learning happens to me specifically because of my core wounds, it actually motivates me more. And I still have a million issues with my core wounds. It's never going to go away, but I'm learning all the time how to, instead of use them as a crutch, I use them to push me forward instead of hold me back.
I love that. That might be the title of this episode. I don't know.
Maybe
it's
I
really
need to
good.
get paid the big bucks for naming things.
Yeah, please. You can get paid for the big bucks. Absolutely. Being that you were in an audience at one point and not on the other side of in the inner circle, literally, and now that you are, and now you can go back and look if they're knowing, and a lot of you know people in the community. So I want you to think about some of the people that you potentially know in the community, people you've done programs with potentially, right? And then just sort of the average person the average JJ person who's listening to this. And you think about what you might have needed to hear or what message moved you, motivated you, got a fire lit under your ass. Maybe it could be a quote. It could be an idea. It could be a reflection back to that the person who's sitting there saying, I can't. That, hey, look at me because I did it. You can do it. Something like that. Does anyone have any?
There is no such thing as an average JJ person.
Amen, sister.
Mic drop. Yeah. Please don't drop the mic, Patrick. It'll break on this tile floor.
So I know it is perseverance. It is doing shit that you're afraid of. This whole process has been combating that thought, that voice that says, this is too scary. This doesn't make any sense. How is this supposed to help? What does this have to do with being a better person? What does this have to do with having a successful business? It was all about doing shit that you're afraid of. And that is, my entire life has been doing shit that I'm afraid of. Anything that's ever, which are many things that have been awesome in my life, have come from what we call contrast, have come from shit hitting the fan. I don't just voluntarily become a better person. I don't have that much humility to just say, I'm going to be a better person today. I need to have some shit happen first. And a lot of shit has happened, and everything has been a level up. And since I've known you for the last year and a half, shit has happened, and it's all been another growth spurt. So this is scary as shit. This whole process is scary as shit. To say that I have this successful career profession, not that I'm abandoning it, but that I'm going to add this other thing to it, which, as we know, sacrifices have to be made. So I'm going to have to put time and energy into this other venture, which means some of the other stuff might slide a little bit. And I have that leap of faith that it's going to be okay, that I'm going to be taken care of. And it doesn't mean financially it has to be great. Hopefully that'll happen, and it ought to. But if not, I'm still going to be okay. I'm going to be taken care of, because everything in my life has been another success. I always say I fail forward. I mess up on things, but I fall forward to the next thing. So perseverance for me is probably the overriding theme just in my life and in the last 18 months. It's been doing shit that I'm afraid of.
Nice. Hold on before you go, Helen. Remember what you're going to say, though. So Patrick is going to be supporting men with breaking through self-sabotaging patterns. And he's going to be looking for some case studies to possibly work with. And lots of people in this room were already excited. So shout out a yes if you are excited and know how much Patrick's voice is needed in this world to help men go. Yes. Okay. So again, it's reflecting that back to you. I hope you can receive that and know that even though it's scary, you're helping people who were like you before, and you're going to be able to help save some more lives. I know you already do it, but now you're going to do it a different way.
I'm excited. I'm excited to not have, that worldwide men can be helped now. Yep. It's not just in my community or just in my zip code. Anybody and everybody all over the world can be helped with technology, the way we do things virtually now. So I'm excited. Thanks.
I was going to say that we're all, when you were talking about the average JJ person or the other side of where we are right now, I think we all can relate to having hindsight if we could go back in time and kind of change something, we have that ability. But with JJ in your corner and a mastermind and a community like this, that you don't have to wait for hindsight, like, because JJ's going to point out right away where you're stuck, where you're in your own way, and what you can do about it. And that can save 5 years, 10 years, several decades of you not having to go through it by yourself through trial and error. And it's really very valuable. And so that's what I'd want to say to I mean, we all need to hear that, whether we're on this side of the microphone or in the average JJ world. But that really is a great value. And I appreciate you, JJ, for that.
So, Wendy here. I also want to say it is the scariest thing that you'll ever do. Like, and stepping beyond that, and I can totally attest. Having bungee jumped, that's totally freaking scary, but yet I did it. And ever since I've done it, I've recognized that fear is truly false evidence appearing real. And on top of that, and I'm going to say my last meditation retreat, and it hit me when we were all when everybody was sharing, is that last mastermind, I didn't know how to formulate questions, and I didn't know what I needed to do, and I didn't know, and I was too scared to step forward. And I recognized this last meditation retreat that if I had any kind of question, I asked the prof, I asked that teacher. Some were stupid. I didn't care. I needed to know. I needed to ask these questions. And I can honestly say before, I was always scared to ask these questions. I was always scared. I was scared. However, this year is like I'm asking all kinds of questions, and I really and truly want to propel myself further this year than I ever have before, because I'm truly ready for it. And I have come so far since the 2018 when I found JJ on Spirit, Purpose, and Energy, because I needed to get the hell out of my head. And then when she opened up her inner circle coaching crew, it's like, hell yes.
Which is now Empower You.
Which is exactly, and now Empower You. And then as soon as she opened up the Empowerment Strategist, the Emerging Business Builders, I jumped on all of those. And it's just been a progression of growth since day one. And yes, finding that like-minded community and not feeling like I'm all alone in the world, because I always have felt alone and different and not whole. I have found this whole community very rewarding on so many different levels. And yet this year is pivotal. It's extremely pivotal for me. And I am, anyway. Yeah.
No,
so
not anyway.
I'm forever grateful to, have been here and experienced everybody's, just everything.
Well, your journey has been, like planting seeds, and your garden has been growing, and then all of a sudden you had a growth spurt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Patty, and I wanted to say, when Patrick was saying that about the fear, that I was kind of laughing, thinking it's so true, and it's so, I remember being at one of your live events, and you were doing a meditation, and I had this total vision of how stupid fear is, like how stupid it's been that not that I've been, but that the fear was there, and I couldn't get past it in so many areas of my life. But while he was talking, I was thinking, this is a guy who's sitting here with 8 women, who listens to all of our talks, who talk about overcoming fear. Because I was thinking, I'm a mom of 3 boys. I know Ned came, but Ned had me. You're here without your significant other, and I give you a lot of credit for that. And I hope that one of the things that, if you have a man in your life, or if you're a man listening, that you know just how attractive that is to put yourself out there and overcome those fears as a man in this world of emotions, just how much better you can feel if you aren't afraid of what other people think about you, or what it's going to be like if you can just be open, vulnerable to the processes, and you come out on the other side with this confidence and this ability to release all the frustrations in life and kind of brush it off. Like that's the thing. I mean, as a woman, that's the thing I've been able to achieve is the things that used to get me all fired up. Now I'm kind of like, oh, that's funny because I remember that used to bother the shit out of me. And now I'm like, that's really not significant. And it was my own fears and judgments that I'd put on things and people that have just gone away in the last 4 years, where I'm happier. I don't sweat the small stuff, really. There's a lot of things like the fear of being seen was probably my biggest one. And then when you are seen, it's like it's really not that scary. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, you remember, we've said it a lot of times, me shaking the first time I did this. My voice was shaking, my hand was shaking,
2021.
I felt sick. I mean, I felt like, oh my God, it's going to be out there and people are going to hear. And what if it's someone that knows me and they're going to hear what I say and they're going to I was totally freaked out. And
Look at you. You're a fucking pro.
now I don't care. Like it's like, okay, it's okay. It's not that scary to be seen. And so I hope that anyone who's out there kind of on the sidelines who might also fear being seen will know that on the other side of that, it's so much better. It's so much happier. It's so much lighter, and your life can be so much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And if you haven't noticed Patty's growth or anyone else's growth in this group, yeah. So before you, Joe, so when we're done, we're going to wrap it up with a word. I want you to pick a word. There will be everyone's links about what they're doing, all the things that they're involved in the show notes, and if you're a part of my email list, you will get the email with the links. It'll be in the show notes, all the wonderful free stuff that they're inviting you to contribute to making your life, your family's life, and the world a better place.
Well, I just wanted to add, and it kind of sums up, a quote I have on my website, janejaber.com.
Way to plug. Way to plug.
And it's a pretty popular Anais Nin quote, and it says, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." And I feel like we can all relate, yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. I still want a word.
Oh,
Closing word for everybody.
my closing word is clarity.
Dang, you took my word right out of my mouth. That's the one I was going to say.
You can share the same word.
I
if
will
that's
say clarity, and definitely clarity.
Mine's liberated.
I'm choosing between two.
Good.
Can I have two?
Sure.
Acceptance and effortless.
Ooh. I will say beautiful.
I don't have one word, but I want to say it's letting go.
Yeah.
I was like not sure what word to pick at the moment, but the first one that came to mind was confidence.
It's 2 words, and it's breakthrough. And the words of the Doors, break on through to the other side.
Nice. Yay, Patrick. Okay. And if I had to pick a word, alignment. There's another word besides alignment, because there's something about this group and this, like I was trying to think about it. Like again, last year felt like freedom because I could go back and forth, but this felt, I guess, I'm just going to go with alignment because it felt purposeful and alignment, everyone on the same page. There was like the same page, you know what I mean? Like it was congruent. It was connected, but I'm going to stick with alignment. All right, so I hope that this episode has inspired you in some way, shape, or form to put yourself out into the world, to look at your gifts and talents, and to know that you have value, not only for your family and people that know you, and probably even more so for people that don't know you. So please don't hold back. Don't take a moment of your life to continue to stall and repress and wait and wait and wait and wait. If there is a calling inside of you, please find a way to let it out. Please find a way to acknowledge it and to allow yourself to grow and to be seen. And I'm sure by the time this podcast is aired, I have already announced the Embodied Healing Intensive, which is the live event happening October 4th through the 6th. Everyone in this room will hopefully be there and more. Some of your favorites will be showing up for this event. Please get your tickets October 4th through the 6th, Redondo Beach. You can go to jenniferzanes.com. You will find the events tab and you will find the event. We would love to have you there. So I hope that you get to meet these wonderful people in person. You get to experience them from now until October 4th, but make sure we see you at the Embodied Healing Intensive.